we welcome you, Mr. Tobias, and our audition is very eager to hear some short sentences about you and your work and everything you do, because you are really very important person in some spiritual world.
Well, it's hard to explain, but when I was 19 years old, so I don't know, that's a few years ago. Do you want me to pause for you to translate?
You can speak, and I will start to translate after you finish.
19 years old, and I was starting in college. I had been an athlete, football and swimming and so forth, but I still had high blood pressure. All right. So anyway, I learned early on with my scientific father, he was a nuclear physicist, I learned that the normal approach, the Western rational approach, was not fulfilling and did not have a big picture. And this I learned when I was very young in college. And so I found yoga. I found these positions on yoga. And as I did them the first night, my body, my spirit would spiral out of my top of my head. And I knew there was much more to the story. And that was the beginning of my awakening, if you will. In the last 25 years, I've lived in India. I've spent time in Peru with master shamans. I was just in Hopi land the last 3-4 days, which is the Hopi tribe here in the United States, and my own personal awakening in many different ways of the traditional real swamis, the real Indian yoga. But all these traditions are now being undone. There's something new coming to the planet, simpler. Whether it's the Incas or the Peruvian shamanism with ayahuasca, or the Hopis, the most old tribe here in the North America, or the traditional Indian things, there's a simpler, more direct thing happening for millions of people on the planet. We're feeling it. So many millions of us are feeling our own personal awakenings, and this is a confusing time. All the old cultures are being finished, and it's going to look dangerous at times, or scary, the threat of war, the threat of all these things. But this has to happen. It is a new birth. I work with Buddhist monks. I work with Tibetan lamas that are having to stop what they are doing. They have to stop the old traditions because they're going to be finished, actually complete. It's completed. So whether it's traditional shamanism or Tibetan Buddhism or the Indian yogic traditions, Shiva, Patanjali, or any of this. Now, this does not mean that it's going to be simple and easy for people. But what we're doing is what Jesus was the seed for, and Krishna also, and Buddha also. It's a becoming honest and authentic with our feelings, the full human, all the parts of the human, all the parts of the human being. It's going to be a simpler approach, but there's no tradition that's going to be left. All right. So this simpler approach for many souls, and these are the methods I teach, really, that were taught to me. Now, the real awakening for me came encountering nature directly, the energies directly. Yes. And so these methods, the personal awakening, each individual person, and it's gotten simpler. You don't need to spend 30 years, in specific traditions and disciplines. But the basic 3 fundamental methods is you first need to recontact yourself as an energy body, that you're made of energy. And, our current culture is people live in the heads. It's the thinking, talking heads. There's even a musical group called the Talking Heads to show us a reflection. Wake up, right? And so these are the basic, what my interest is not in exposing, you know, all the bad things on earth, which I understand, the Bilderbergers and the Rothschilds and the this, that, and the other. And believe me, I know all the details, the secret Mars programs. And I knew the stuff about the ETs and the little gray guys 25 years ago. God showed me all this stuff. But my interest is in healing individual people, giving tools for the individual so they can become self-empowered, self-in-charge. When each cell of the human body gets healed, there's no problem. You know, too much mental understanding is no solution. But the healing of the heart and your belly and your whole temple, this is the solution. Yes. Yes. And so that's my interest. It always has been. I'm not saying it's better or worse. We all have different roles. Some people need to point out, like David Icke, who I've met, and I knew his wife very well and all this. They have a job. We all have different jobs to do. My interest is in giving this the inner body awakening, an ancient Shiva technique. Eckhart Tolle talks about it in his book a little bit. Alchemy, learning to be in charge of your energies and being connected to the heart. These are simplified ways for human beings, for the millions of humans awakening right now, simple practical tools to keep it simple and remembering who you are and away from outer authority. No more outer authority, whether it's priests or governments or whatever. This is the solution. I'll do a little shorter segments. I can feel that. So, so that's my joy. That's what I do. And this is also about pleasure and enjoyment for individuals. The struggle is over.
Well, Carmen says that she thinks that most people really can awake after some struggle in life, after some bigger problems in life, after some losings that wake them up, and when they are desperate, they try to find what can they do to uplift themselves. Is it true? Is it okay?
Yes. At first, from the old model where we are asleep, you will have the wake-up calls, which is economic problems, relationship problems, health problems, big disruptions in your life. This is the first step. And this is happening on the whole planet. Your region of the world, you guys are actually in a very good position. Because you have been collectively through a lot of the hell. And many people are ready there. If you were like fat Americans, you wouldn't be so ready. So yes, it's very painful at first with the awakening. It's a removing of the old programs. And then a hunger from the heart, something more authentic, something more real, and it gets simpler and simpler. And that's when it becomes less struggle. It becomes living directly from source, and life becomes simpler and easier. Yes. And so you cannot fool Mother Nature. You can't fool the universe. So either your energy gets real and clear and authentic, and you hear directly, you work directly with the universe. And this is the change right now. Most of the planet is doing very well, even though it's going to look very bad with viruses and maybe some wars and all this stuff. But it's just part of the purging and cleaning. Individual people healing themselves. And that, when you heal yourself, you get more pleasure, you get more power, you get more ease, you get more comfort. And so, first step, we heal us, and then all these things in Jesus' word are added unto us. So that's my interest, and I'll stop preaching, and if you guys want to ask questions or talk or chat or however you want to do it.
Well, Carmen asked a question, or your opinion. What technique to use because we have started our awakening. All the troubles are over. All the starts are overcome. And a lot of technique, spiritual technique, are in the world. We can see and hear anything and everything, but how to choose something what is the best for me or for you, or how to choose something personal to be the best for some person.
Good question. Look for, yeah, it can be many different things. We're different types of people, so everything is not the same for everybody. Here's a simple thermometer test. How do you feel afterwards? Does it feel clearer, cleaner? You moved energy. You feel good. Good and God are the same word. Moving your body is a very simple, practical step. Some forms of exercise, walking, get the energy moving naturally.
Perhaps walking by the river, or walking through the forest, or picking mushrooms, or something. Be in.
Yes, yeah, that's even better. But first step is to move the energy. We're kind of like dogs. We need exercise first. Too much internet and too much thinking, not so good. You work on the internet like I do. Every hour or so I get up, I go outside, I hang upside down on my machine, I do the bouncy thing, I do something to move my energy. And the second thing then, first move energy, secondly some connection method to God's source. And that can be some form of meditation. So the first step, physical energy movement. Second step, connection to God's source. Now I do that through meditation. I do that through the inner body energy fields. The main thing is connection. You need to have some connective practice. Or traditional prayer. You know, prayer is, you got to do prayer. Prayer is one with the mouth and two ears. Yeah. And then diet does have a big effect. So whatever feels right in the moment, if you need to move your physical energy, do that. If you feel the natural arising of, I want communion time, I want connection time, I want prayer connection with Source and me, do that, you know. Do what is in the moment wanting to do. I do my yoga at night. I do the physical things usually in the morning. The healing of imprints, karmic imprints, the things you were raised with as a child. You know, you need to heal the psychological imprints also. Yeah. So physical movement, spiritual connection, diet, which don't push too fast. If you've been eating, you know, a lot of meat and things, don't be too rigid, but shift towards what you and your body want to do together. Okay? And then healing your psychology, your individual karmas, your individual imprints that you received, which will include in your DNA, your ancestors, what your parents and generations before went through you. All of this. But the first step is ask the universe, literally go, okay, show me where to start. And you will get an answer that goes, little thing in your head, I want to do this. Follow the guidance. So, well, I'm moved on already, sorry. But anyway, so ask the universe for where to start. If you're just starting on stuff or you're shifting over in your awakening process, so show me the next step. Show me where to start. Show me where to do stuff. If you've been on the spiritual path for a long time, it's the same procedure. You need to go the next step. You can have been on the spiritual path a long time, and Spirit might tell you you need to go to the gym and lift weights because you need to get grounded. It depends on who we are. But you ask, show me what's good for me now. And you kind of listen around your whole field. because God comes in many different ways. You may be in the bathroom and the little voice. You know when you have an aha, aha, follow the aha.
What would be the proper motivation for awakening? Some people try to awake, to go something to ask or try to find motive in a financial situation, and some people want to uplift themselves in some spiritual way to gain more money. Something rather different. What would be, by your opinion, what would be the right thing, the right motivation to uplift up?
God's source, the universe, is very smart, very tricky. So there's really no bad way of awakening. We may think that money hunger or power hunger is a bad thing. Whatever gets you moving and energized is okay. The main thing is to get moving and energized. Don't worry. If it's you want your body to look better, you want to have a good relationship, you want more money, the mundane things in life, it's okay as a start. Don't worry. The universe will correct you. It depends on the individual soul what's the right motivation for them. Ultimately, the universe takes care of it because you will end up in a place of philanthropy, of wanting to share, wanting to help. That's where you'll end up. How you start is individual. It seems to be inbuilt, just like when we watch our child have a success, like they learn to ride a bike or they learn to do mathematical problems. The parent loves when the child has a success. So the ultimate pleasure and high in the universe is watching other people have a success. I love when I do groups because I love watching others have success and awaken. That feeds me. So the suffering Jesus is not true. He is happy to help and watch success. At the same time, yes, there's sadness. Like the Buddha, compassion is both sadness and bliss together. Compassion is I see the problems in the world, but I see also the beauty of souls, and that becomes compassion. They don't need money, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Mataji, Kuan Yin, St. Francis, Babaji, Sai Baba. There's thousands, ayahuasca, Pele. They don't need money. They don't need anything personally. Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar, etc. But they get bliss and pleasure from watching others grow, just like parents with children. Motivation be authentic and honest in the moment for you, but be present and conscious and let that motivation evolve. Yeah. So let your motivation be exactly true what your motivation is in the moment. I want a better girlfriend, a strong husband with money. I don't care. It's okay. Let the motivation be honest and it will evolve. Don't worry. Same root as move, motivation, move, motivation.
Could you tell us what is the most misunderstood thing in spirituality today?
I know I wrote these questions. Yes, I know I gave you these questions, Carmen. I knew them at the time, but I have to remember now to say this. Is that we think we can think our way to heaven, that we can ascend without including, that we think we can think our way to heaven. The emotions, the heart, the feelings, the sexuality, the full spinal column, the full spectrum need to be included. This is the biggest misunderstanding. Spirituality is, if I am a good person in my heart and do the right things, everything will take care of itself. We work only the upper chakras. That's the old spirituality. And so then that model brings tragedy in the end. We have tried to rise above the body and the feelings. We actually need to go down into the solar plexus, right? Your feeling and your sex and the physical, and we need to enlighten those places. So the biggest misunderstanding is that we can become healthy by only using half the human. We need to be the full human. All 7 churches, all 7 temples, all 7 stars, all 7 chakras, the full body enlightenment is what is the new model. Yes. So the old spirituality was the body was bad, the flesh is weak, emotions are very bad, we should only think in our head. So upper body enlightenment does not work. Full body enlightenment is the new way. Spiritual places, we still judge human emotions. We still very much judge the human emotions of fear, anger, rage, terror. The only reason there's a war on terror on this planet is because we have not felt our own terror inside. We need to heal the lower part of our human being. Every master does this, but the religions don't talk about it. And I have to say, when we come to this subject, the programming is very strong on the planet. And you still aren't even allowed to speak it. Just say that. What this programming that we should only go up, 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 back to God is the old programming. The whole Buddha field includes the whole body. This is the biggest misunderstanding. And one more, and then Carmen next. And God has made sure that we will remember this because babies come from our sex. And so the life is birthed through sex. So if we gave birth through our heads, we would have abandoned our lower body a long time ago.
When we try to uplift our souls, we have expectations. We think that some magic wand can finish, which can do anything for us. But what about those expectations we have? What about?
The universe will correct you. Magic and grace and healing and magic is real, but this automatic going back to one with God because you learn a theory is not going to work. And like I said before, to really have the real awakening at the level of a Jesus or a Buddha or Krishna, and we are God seeds. Every human being has that potential, but it's a powerful, strong, you cannot fake it, the process. So to face the physical and enlighten the physical is a big change. So the real process, you will encounter all the things you need to change. There's no magic shortcut. But you'll feel so much better because you're doing the real thing. But let's be honest, these are some real changes. Your relationships, your family may not understand you. You know, things change very much. The real spiritual path is very different than a programmed path of religions or particular traditions, or whether you're a Buddhist monk or stuck in, religionism with Muslims, Christians, Jews, or it doesn't matter. Programming is not the real thing.
In your book, you are talking about spirituality of the earth, awakening of the earth, and you speak about sun, a lot about sun. What about the sun?
Well, we hear about the Egyptians worshiping the sun, or the Incas worshiping the sun. We hear about this. Okay? They didn't worship the sun, but they knew the sun was the information giver, light and information. It's the closest thing. All stars are connected. They all talk to each other instantly. All suns, all stars in our galaxy have instant knowledge of each other. The center of the galaxy is the central sun, and all the stars are its emissaries or babies, and they all talk to each other in the same instant, same moment. And so each sun is a little bit different. Each star has its own mixture of light frequencies. And so our sun, you could say, is an ascended consciousness. It's a being. Just like Mother Earth is a being, our sun is soul, S-O-L. It has a personality, but it is an ascended being. So it's very intelligent, it's very loving, it tells all the plants exactly how to grow, it tells us what bodies to grow. So advanced cultures like the Egyptians and the Incas knew that it's a good idea to consciously tune into the information from the sun.
Well, we would like to know, what do you teach your pupils on your workshop or classes you have with people? What do you teach them?
Well, the situation is different every time, so it depends on who is present. Literally, each soul that comes has a unique vibrational soul print, so the situation is unique each time. But I teach three main methods. My first interest and what I ask God is each time that I have fun first. And then I teach the practical methods, the inner body awakening, this learning for people to be in their inner body, feel their whole energy field. The inner body awakening is the first method. And the second method that I teach on the courses is the alchemy process, the alchemy energy process. So what we learn that all our energies, we are made of energy, and all our energies are transmutable. They are malleable, changeable. We can dissolve the old lead, the bad energies, into gold, and we can also make from the cosmic energies, we can coalesce what we want in our life. People have forgotten, we've been trained that we have no power, but we are alchemy and energy masters. So we need to remind souls that this is true. One of the steps in the alchemy process is I am a creator and dissolver of energies. Just feel that, anybody who listens to this. I am a creator and a dissolver of energies. Literally a creator and a dissolver. We don't just channel it, but we are a creator and a dissolver of energies. We are gods. We are little gods. This has been carefully told for people for thousands of years that they cannot do this. But the fact is, every teacher and God himself, herself, we are pieces of God's source. So it's important that we remember that we have this power. And the third method I teach, I call the heart energy, the heart energy. And I was shown a few years ago the torus field, like an apple, this torus field, like the fields around the planet Earth, the Van Allen belts, the magnetic fields around the Earth. This torus field is also the field of the heart. And so I was shown this a few years ago. So the last method is we learn how to work with the torus field of the heart so that we keep the heart present in the new creation, because then we won't have to recreate all the problems. Learn to feel your energy field, your inner body. Learn to alchemize energies and include the heart, love. Those are the three main methods I teach, but we have a lot of spontaneous fun, past life stuff, a lot of laughter, some crying, maybe, but healing. Whatever God's Spirit wants to do with the group is my job.
Well, would you please tell us something about ayahuasca?
So, yes, a few years ago, I was in an airport in Atlanta, Georgia, and there was a magazine, a National Geographic magazine, and it had a picture of a sacred canyon in Arizona, where I have already been, but my little voice in my head said, buy the magazine. I said, no, I know this place. I don't need to see it. But I had promised Spirit recently, I will follow your instructions. So after Spirit said a second time, pick up the magazine, I opened the magazine, and there was a picture of shamans in an ayahuasca ceremony. And then I told my girlfriend, uh-oh, I think I have to go to the jungle. So I did. And I word, Quechua is their language, Inca word that means vine of the soul or vine of the dead. Vine of the soul or vine of the dead. It's not the exact translation. Vine of the soul or vine of the spirits, you could say also. She's an ascended human being. She became enlightened.
Ona je postala, dakle, prosvjetljeno ljudsko biće.
Now she achieved her enlightenment through the plants and animals of the jungle. Instead of doing yoga techniques, she went out and merged with the planet. And so her manifestation is when you drink this medicine made from the liana, the vine, and from this bush, chacruna, Psychotria vidris. These two ingredients you boil and you drink this and you go on a 6 to 8 hour spiritual journey where the veils come down and you see all the dimensions behind this dimension. And she is a god. She is interested in cleaning you. She will clean you physically, she will clean you emotionally, she will clean you spiritually. This can often be very difficult to look at. You die before you die. You will encounter you're in this world, but you're also, the worlds are melting together. You'll see the many dimensions. Some are hellish and some are heavenly. And it's a cleaner. It can heal physical things like cancer and glaucoma and liver problems. She cleans you. The first she does is clean you physically. So there's often a throwing up and diarrhea. And it's a beautiful thing, but it is you remembering who you really are. And so it can be difficult and scary and confrontive because you cannot hide when you do ayahuasca. So usually if you go for a series of ceremonies in Peru, let's say, where I work with Jill and Casey, you'll have ceremony where you clean and you look at your darkness and your healing. And then usually at the end, she gives you glimpses of heaven and how beautiful it is, so you feel better. She is the mother plant of the Amazon. She's the mother goddess spirit and the mother plant for the Amazon. There is another plant in Africa called ibogaine that is from the Congo area. It's a root. These two plants are going to have a big role in healing the planet. One from the deepest jungles of Africa, one from the deepest jungles of the Amazon. They are both going to have very powerful role to help pull the veil aside so people can see before they die. And I'll finish with this. In one of my first ceremonies, I asked God, who is ayahuasca? Why? Why is this happening? It's like we need special help, special medicine right now. The earth was telling the universe, the children need extra help. Send us something. And ayahuasca is this extra help. It's like cheating on a test a little bit. You get to look ahead, and then you realize more what's happening. And you will know if it's the right time for you to do it. Listen to some Icaros online and just feel it. It's not right for everybody, and everybody should not do it. It's a right time for every person.
Tobias, thank you for being with us tonight. We hope we shall see once more, or next time, or sometimes too. You are so interested. The time flies when we speak with you, and thank you very much for your trying to enlighten us. People are really in. This is those commenters from our people that are with us tonight. They gave you not excellent. Not excellent, but millions. Not excellent here in Croatia is number 5. Excellent. You got millions, millions, zeros and zeros for quality, for quality. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I would love to come to Croatia and let's do communion. Let's do real eating of real spirit and real awakening, and it's time for us to feel good again, to feel good in our bodies and hearts and minds, and realize we can clean up and have a better situation. So I would love this.